Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today, we will discuss the formation of special task force in Jammu and Kashmir to identify government employees suspected of indulging in anti-national activities. Jammu and Kashmir government has formed a special task force to screen government employees suspected of involvement in anti-national activities like support to terrorism and separatist activities. Those identified will lose their jobs and possibly face legal action. Why did the government have to resort to such a step? We will try to analyze this in the agenda today. We have with us former DGP of J&K, MM Khajuria, activist Majid Haidari and advocate Ankur Sharma who heads Ikjut Jammu organization. But before we begin our conversation, have a look at this small report.
In Jammu and Kashmir, it has been suspected for long that some employees of the government indulge in anti-national activities like supporting secessionism and terrorism. Now the government of the Union Territory has set up a special task force headed by additional DGP to identify such elements. Those found to be involved in such activities will lose their jobs and possibly face legal action. The Proviso C of Article 311, Clause 2 confers powers on state authorities to dismiss and demote public servants without holding recourse to the normal procedure. If it is satisfied that their retention in public service is prejudicial to the security of the state, said an order issued by the government. The STF has been empowered to compile records of such suspected employees and submit the list to the committee constituted last year. The Special Task Force, according to the order, will engage with other members of the Terror Monitoring Group for identifying employees involved in questionable activities. The task force shall receive assistance from the CID. The decision comes days after a woman special police officer was booked in Kulgam district of Kashmir under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and her services terminated for obstructing security forces while they were conducting a search operation on April 14. Earlier also, several employees and officials of the state government have been suspected of participating in secessionist activities and even helping terrorists, including in the form of providing shelter. There have been suspected cases where even government vehicles have been used for the benefit of terrorists. Now, it is to be seen how much the task force succeed in stemming the rot in the government. The report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Mr. Khajuria, Mr. Haidari and advocate Ankur Sharma. Welcome to the program, all of you. So I'll first go to Mr. Khajuria about the government decision to form this special task force to identify people in government who may be indulging in anti-national activities. How do you see this development?
Well, there's a history behind it. When Sheikh Abdullah took over the administration in 1947, the setup that was created was on the Soviet-Russian pattern. There was no distinction between the government and the party. The district president of the National Conference was also the district deputy commissioner of the district.
Yeah.
Now, when Sheikh Abdullah was removed and Bakshi Ghulam Mohan took over, senior people who were both in the party and the government, they were dismissed. But when Sheikh Abdullah came back after the Indira State Accord,
Yeah.
the people were reinstated and they were back in the government. Now, a new situation arose when I was in command
Yeah.
in 1985-86. We went after them, and I had about a half a dozen of them dismissed from the service. This included big leaders like Abdul Ghani, Professor Abdul Ghani, and Mohad Azadi, leader Inqilabi. Despite all the efforts, we did not let them be initiated. Fortunately, the Chief Minister, G.N. Shah, who the media would put up as a pro-Pakistani, he stood by me, and we had a powerful support from the Government of India, represented by Arun Nehru. So this is the background. And the important thing is that this is the action taken by the government is absolutely welcome, because the situation has risen. There is totally become intolerable. But there is one snag in this.
Yeah.
That snag is that and people who are dismissed, they must be perceived, even by the common man, to be guilty. There should be no political concentration, party concentration whatsoever. And the list that is drawn should be such that neither at the state level, nor at the central level, nor at the international level, anybody should be able to raise a little finger and say that it's not justified.
Right. But do you think it is, you said it's a welcome step, but do you think it is a delayed step?
Pardon?
Is it a delayed step? I mean, is it too late?
Of course it's delayed. It is delayed because the most troublesome situation arose during the Mahbooba Mufti government, of which BJP was the party. Unfortunately, the political party consideration took precedence over the national interest, and it was allowed to happen. Thereafter also, you can see how much gap has taken place.
Right.
But in any case, there lies Durustad, is better late than never. So we have very heartily very welcome this move on the part of the government.
Okay, I'll go to Advocate Ankur Sharma. As you heard Mr. Khajuria saying that it's not enough, that it has to be taken to the logical conclusion through legal course also. But there are Durustad. How do you see this development?
Today morning only I was discussing this issue with some of my friends, and I said that until and unless this is taken to its logical conclusion, it can only be a mere eyewash. It has always been the position of Ekjut Jammu, and otherwise also majority of the populace here in Jammu, that the state of J&K had been earlier taken over by those who believe in radical Islamist ideology and members of separatist associations or outfits, by planting individuals and policies within the state apparatus. So this was subversion from within. Now the government, in the name of security, quoting Subarticle C of Subarticle 2 of Article 311 of the Constitution of India, has decided to take head on. So we have been always saying this. Now the bill in getting these orders implemented is to be seen. They were already in the Constitution book. They were already in the statute book, merely notifying the committee, which the statute mandates you to do immediately after coming into force at such a belated stage. I can say that it is only a welcome step, but we would be satisfied only if certain individuals are really taken up. And I can tell you, more than 40% of the individuals who are working with the state government or the UT government here in J&K have separatist tendencies, have associations with separatists, and in fact many terrorist organizations. So until and unless a complete operation is launched, and within some time frame, some time-bound manner, certain individuals are identified and dealt with under law, I don't think there's anything to be very cheerful about.
But I don't think the order mentions any time frame. It's an open-ended, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely it doesn't, because it might be another subversion. Because to handle criticisms from nationalists or people of Jammu, or in fact same voices even within the security establishment, it might be some kind of an eyewash. Probably this order could have contained the time frame also, and the lists of all those individuals who have affiliations with the neighboring country, the terrorist organizations, the separatist organizations. They are very well within the records of the government. They could have started with taking action, and immediately. I mean, after such a long period of time, we saw 6 months back also this thing had come up. So what happened after that? So again, they have come up with some order where they have notified the team, which they are otherwise mandated to do under the statute. Nothing has been done even after earlier notification. So let's see, let's wait and watch. I think within 1 month things should be clear. We should not wait for more than a month to see the will or to judge the will of the administration of the government in this regard.
Right. We have Majid Hydari with us. Majid, what do you think? As Ankur was saying that there are 40%, he is suspecting 40% employees are with separatists, and also he says it's a eyewash. Maybe there is no serious will in the government to really tackle this issue. What do you say?
Look at this order as being unconstitutional, undemocratic. Secondly, this is a witch hunt of the Kashmiri Muslims in particular, and why I say so, I'll explain it to you.
But it doesn't mention anywhere Muslims.
Sir, I'll tell you, I'm coming to the point because my worthy fellow panelist Ankur Sharma ji said that there are Muslim radicals in Kashmir, so they need to be taken care of the government. So I'll speak on that point. See, firstly, the government, which for the last 3 years is running Jammu and Kashmir, has no moral right to go for such an order because the government, which has broken all records of government, can't get any peace and do justice with any such kind of an order. That is my point number one. Point number two is that when you come up with a task force, the task force becomes an undemocratic institution, which could be a tool, much like the way government has been misusing the NIA and the CBI for its vested interest on the national perspective. The same way this task force can be misused against the Kashmiri Muslims working in the government. Point number three, the government is actually abusing and assaulting the integrity of the Kashmiri Muslim employees who have dedicatedly worked for the country for the last 70 years. Does the government want to say that Kashmiri Muslims are doubtful because of their faith, or because the constitution by Article 19 gives them the right to freedom of expression?
But Majid, I mean,
is it the way
Majid,
Sir,
can I interrupt you here? Because again, if you see the order, there is no mention of Muslims. It may be Hindus also who may be involved. How do you say only Muslims?
That is my point. For the last 6 years, the kind of government we have been working with, those people who are known for separate terror have been released. The same.
Let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one example. Devinder Singh, he is not a Muslim. He has been caught in anti-terror involvement.
Ajay ji, you are not letting me speak. I am making something clear before the court. The same government released Pragya Singh Thakur, Asima Anand, and the third fellow, that Colonel Purohit. All the three, as per Hemant Karkare, were the masterminds of theft and terror. Now the government, which discriminates between Hindus and Muslims with regard to terror, can never do justice with this issue. This is simply the witch hunt of Kashmiri Muslims in particular, because otherwise, recently seen in Jammu, some ultra-right people were into terror activity. They tried something Muslim rights, they blasphemous activity. No action was taken against those people. So there is a kind of conspiracy. Even in Doda district, there was one particular man from the right wing ideology.
We were discussing about J&K government decision to set up special task force to screen government employees who may be involved in anti-national activities. So Majid, you were talking about something, discrimination. So as you mentioned about discrimination, this government is discriminating. That's what I'm saying. So I referred you to the case of Devinder Singh. So had the government been discriminatory, they would not have arrested Devinder Singh. They would have let him free because he is not a Muslim, isn't it?
Sir, Devinder Singh has not been dismissed from services, whereas in the recent one SPO was working from Kashmir, a woman SPO was sacked from services because of her faith.
Not because of faith, because she according to reports, she interrupted a search operation. That is why she was arrested.
She has been booked under UAPA. The UAPA
because
does not reply for this thing. Police says she has been booked because of the video where she says police is interfering with her personal life. There is no anti-national activity in that video. You should be the first. You should do your homework first on this.
I know the case. But UAP has been because she was hampering the search operation, which amounts to helping the terrorists. or maybe the.
Sir, but
So
please in the report,
that is why UAP
it
has
does
been.
not say
So I'll.
hampering the operation. They say they have arrested her because of the video, where she nowhere speaks any
She made
national.
video also, and also that's one another part. But I'll go to Mr. Khajuria about it. Mr. Khajuria, as you heard Majid Hydari saying that the state is discriminatory because only Muslims are being targeted. You have been the DGP of J&K. Can you, answer this question?
It has to be an action which is totally beyond question. Even this question is very relevant in the context of Kashmir situation. There should be no feeling ordered that a particular community has been targeted. Then we dismiss that it so happened. The Christians of the Muslims and the DIG, CID who was given the task of collecting the information was also a Muslim. Not that I'm not saying that that is because it is Muslim, but we must take precautions, I guess, on the context of a clear situation to show the people that there is absolutely no communal or party contribution. Because if that happens, the entire purpose is lost. Secondly, they must be careful to not only to select people, but also the number of people. Because it is a large scale, but a city crowd of people, it will lose any meaning to serve a notice. To tell civil servants that you don't have on the both sides. You either serve the government according to the constitution and the rules that are framed, or you serve the phone out and do whatever you like and do it to them.
Right. So, Mr. Khajuria, you talked about precautions. What kind of precautions are you suggesting? What should be there?
Pardon?
What kind of precautions? You said there should be precautions in this approach.
One first precaution is, firstly, I don't really know what are the credentials of the so-called task force.
Yeah.
That is very important. And therefore, they must ensure that, firstly, I don't know what they were made to make a task force and make so much of hoo-ha about it. We did it very quietly. It could have been done very quietly. At the government level, purely on the basis of the information available, information collected, and the records available. And that is something we could have given satisfaction. Now, once you make a task force, then the question arises about each individual's credentials, his associations, his political linkage, and so on and so forth. I think government has vast trouble for itself on this. At the moment, now they have created this task force, they will review this and create.
So, Mr. Khajuria, I'm sure these cases will be reviewed by the judiciary. I'm sure these cases, whatever are scanned, they will be reviewed by the judiciary, no?
No, not that. If you are honest, if you are right, if you are impartial, if you are non-communal, non-party partisan, people in Kashmir have a very strong political antenna. They understand and they appreciate. Vast majority of people in Kashmir are not involved in the mischief, and therefore, I think even the percentage working out parties or parties is not accurate. We should trust not only ourselves, but also trust the common man whose main concern is the quality of his life and the future of his life.
Right. So, Mr. Ankur, you heard what DGP said, former DGP said, and also Majid Hydari talk about, and particularly when Mr. Khajuria said about precautions should be taken, and the government has a special responsibility to ensure that it's not a non-discriminatory thing. It's not a discriminatory thing. What do you say on this?
Well, I think first of all we have to handle this accusation of this order being unconstitutional. I can tell you that in fact relying on the very constitution about, the Constitution of India, Article 311, sub-Article 2C, relying on that article, this committee has been notified. So how can something which is a part of the constitution, which is mandated under the constitution, doing that would become unconstitutional? That is number one. Second, the decision is not going to be taken lock, stock, just at a complaint or at the instance of some single individual. The committee which has been formed is a 5-member committee headed by ADGP CIT, and of course the employee, who is deployed in some department, the HOD of the department, beyond, not the HOD, in fact, a representative above the rank of additional secretary of that department will also be a member. So this is 5 people preparing a report on the basis of the report prepared by the CIT and other agencies, and such recommendations will be put up before higher authority. And only after LV's signatures, such terminations will be effective. Now you also asked about judicial review. Of course, there is nothing which debars the High Court or the Supreme Court of the country from reviewing the decision of this committee as well. There is nothing in the
No, even I was
Constitution
talking in this sense about if somebody is accused of indulging in anti-national activities, he always has a resort to go to court to challenge that, isn't it?
Absolutely. The doors of the courts can be knocked at any point of time. Judiciary has wide powers. Even our high courts, if you file cases challenging the validity of the statutes or the laws passed by the legislature itself, which is the highest body in a constitutional democratic setup, parliamentary setup, such laws have also been declared unconstitutional. In fact, I started my fight in 2014 by challenging the vibes of the Roshni Act, which was passed by 2/3 of the majority of the state legislature, and in 2020 the court declared it unconstitutional. And in comparison to that, an order passed against some individual by this committee on several recommendations. I think there is a foolproof mechanism, but I doubt by creating such kind of aspersions and bringing religion in this, Mr. Majid probably is trying to communalize what is otherwise constitutional and accusing us of doing something which is purely constitutional and unconstitutional.
Yeah, we had to conclude. And last question I'll go to Majid Hadri, last word. So as you said that you should not bring religion into this. It is a maybe executive exercise. So let it be. What do you say?
See, Ajay sir, first will decide what to mean by being anti-national. Honorable Supreme Court says that sedition and dissent should not be messed up. The government in Jammu and Kashmir is trying to mess up both sedition and voices of dissent only to settle scores with the minority community of the country. This is a typical witch hunt. I stand by my words, a typical witch hunt, and it's a game plan or conspiracy against the Muslims and other minorities, as you rightly quoted the example of Devinder Singh. Nothing is going to happen to the ultra-right wing. It is only for the Muslims who are being victimized by the government. I surely and fully condemn this idea. And the secretaries who are worthy secretaries who have been appointed as member of police, there are charges of corruption against almost all the officers as of now. So how can you expect somebody, the government which is already in the scandal for corruption, doing justice with this thing? This is all the way unconstitutional, unlawful, and unethical.
So you say it's unconstitutional, Ankur says it is constitutional, and also Mr. Khajuria says that there should have been a time frame, but I think that views will differ, but that is all the time we have in this program today. Mr. Khajuria, you want to say something?
Okay.
Brief comments, we have to conclude.
Getting into this hassle of anti-national and non-national is very dicey. We consider that point. We need only one criteria. You taking part in politics or you are government servant. This is something which can be based on this cannot be said. So I think the criteria should be you based on process to the objective is to be clear.
So we hope, Mr. Khajuria, we hope that, and we.
That you are taking part in politics, and therefore you are not.
I get your point, but I am sure that the government or the task force will do its due diligence. But thank you all of you for participating in this debate today. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.